road trips. Who doesn't enjoy driving and traveling with their friends across the country while meeting new and exciting places and people? The feeling of adventure while driving across the country is a feeling few will forget. But are all road trips pleasant and fun? Some road trips can turn into a disaster and a traumatic experience in the blink of an eye. Here are some mistakes you should avoid and be prepared for in order to have a better experience. Number 9, forgetting to check on your car. The most essential thing during a road trip is a vehicle. Without it, it wouldn't be a road trip. That means we will be driving for a while, and all that driving can put a strain on the car if it's not serviced properly. So a vital part of preparation is to service the car. It's a safe bet to say that the car needs to be locked and loaded to go. This wasn't the case for a young married couple who decided to go on a South Coast drive. They drove for 2 days before. At 11 a.m., the car started blowing hot air and all the lights flickering. After that, the car stalled and the steering wheel got locked. The unfortunate husband called the service company, and in less than an hour, a mechanic was there. He tried fixing the car, but everything was futile. It was a long and sour night, which resulted in getting the car towed and catching a fare costing nearly $2,000. It took them a few days before getting the car running again, and most importantly, missing on the planned road trip. What was meant to be a relaxing road trip turned out to be a nightmare for this young married couple. So folks, keep in mind, always to have your car serviced so you don't get road stranded. 8. The United States is a big place, like really big. I don't think people usually understand how big the states are. Driving can quickly turn from a fun experience to a tiring and miserable experience. It's very important to make pauses and organize the time spent driving and relaxing. The Grand Canyon and Los Angeles are 8 hours apart. Driving across Texas alone can take up to 15 hours. And roads and highways don't always transport you in a straight path, especially where mountains and beaches are involved. Before choosing your route and schedule for a long road trip, look at a map to get an idea of how far away various locations actually are. Fatal casualties can be present in situations like this when you often underestimate the actual size of the states. Remember, the most important thing when you hit the road is to hit it fresh and full of energy. And if you start to feel some symptoms of fatigue or blurry vision, the best thing is to stop by the road at the nearest motel and make sure to get your 8-hour sleep before you continue on your trip. 7. Underestimating the weather. The U.S. is a large country with a wide range of climates, and it's important to be prepared for the weather in your destination. This includes packing appropriate clothing, sunscreen, and other weather-related items. Failing to prepare for weather can lead to discomfort or even danger. The weather in the States can get out of control pretty quick, which is why you could see yourself in a situation that you wouldn't wish on your worst enemy. In these situations, you'll put your life at risk, and there's a big chance that experts would have to come to get you out of this life-threatening situation. That is why whenever you see bad weather coming ahead, don't think that you're stronger than nature, and just let it pass before you continue with your voyage. Number 6. Someone didn't listen to the officer. An Australian man who recently moved to the United States was approached and stopped by police in Iowa for disobeying a traffic sign. In Australia, it is considered polite to get out of the car and bring your license and registration to the policeman so he doesn't have to get out of the car. But not in the United States. As he jumped out of the car, he was immediately told to lie on the ground as the policeman took his firearm. He was quickly surrounded by a few police vehicles and many policemen. It took nearly half an hour to de-escalate the situation, but in the end, he explained everything, and everything was well. This is an example of how things are considered different when visiting a different country. Number 5. What happens when you don't pay attention to the weather? Snowstorms are a common occurrence in many parts of the United States, particularly in the northern and eastern regions of the country. Snowstorms are caused by low temperatures and the presence of moisture in the air that will lead to getting a lot of snow. Snowstorms can have a significant impact on travel and daily life in affected areas. Snow and ice can make roads and sidewalks slippery and hazardous, and can cause disruptions to transportation and other essential services. Snowstorms can also result in power outages, as heavy snow and ice can cause damage to power lines and other infrastructure. This year alone in Buffalo, New York, the death toll from a snowstorm is 34, and more snow is predicted on the way. One of the victims was a 22-year-old from North Carolina. She was trapped for 18 hours in her car and was exchanging video calls with her sister. While she was on a call, her sister saw another van trapped in the snow. Be mindful if you decide on a trip during the winter holidays. Number 4. Driving to the wrong neighborhood. After half a day of driving, you want to stop for a while to relax and fill up the gas tank or check on the tires. But sometimes you can be at the wrong place at the wrong time. Such places are gang turf or gang territory. Gangs are groups of individuals who are organized for the purpose of engaging in criminal or other illegal activities. Gangs can usually be found in cities and communities throughout the United States, and they often engage in activities such as drug trafficking, robbery, and violent crime. Gangs can pose a threat to public safety and can create a sense of fear and insecurity in the communities where they operate. They often engage in turf wars with other gangs and can be involved in disputes over control of the criminal market or other issues. Gangs can also be involved in more organized criminal activities such as counterfeiting or human trafficking. Often, gang shootouts pose a threat to civilians, and this civilian could be you if you found yourself in the wrong place and at the wrong time. Number 3. Messing up your food schedule. For long planned trips, you always need to make sure that you pack up some good snacks and nutrient-rich food and drinks. If you merely bring a few granola bars and a tiny bottle of water on a cross-country road trip without taking into account the distance or the accessibility of food and drink along the way, you risk making this error. This may result in constant stops for food and liquid purchases, as well as hunger and thirst. Bring some non-perishable snacks and bottled water with you wherever you travel, especially if you plan to drive through remote locations where there may not be many options for food and drink. By bringing adequate food and water, you can ensure that you'll have plenty to eat and drink throughout your journey and prevent any hunger or thirst pangs. You will also make the trip more enjoyable. Make sure you don't take any alcoholic beverages with you, as it will endanger not only yourself but other drivers as well. 2. Sometimes it's better not to let everything out of your chest. Everyone knows what it's like to be cut off and you just want to honk at them. Road journeys can sometimes be stressful, especially if you're rushing, but it's crucial to keep in mind to be kind and considerate to other motorists. This entails driving safely, using your turn signals, leaving other motorists plenty of room, and not cutting anyone off. Avoiding aggressive driving practices like tailgating and speeding is also a good idea because they can result in collisions and irritate or anger other motorists. You may contribute to everyone's safety and prevent problems on the road by showing consideration for other drivers and abiding by traffic laws. Number 1. Can't dial 911 on an empty battery. Today, nearly everyone has a phone, and phones are a vital part of our daily lives. You can say that they are part of our own body. When my phone dies, I feel like I'm an outcast and I'm cut off from society. Well, it's the same while going on a road trip. On a road trip, your phone can be a useful tool because it offers maps, directions, and details for nearby attractions. However, it can be challenging to use these resources if your phone's battery dies. Because of this, it's crucial to keep your phone charged and to travel with a charger or a power bank you can use in an emergency. In order to save battery life, it's also a good idea to disable unused apps and reduce screen brightness. You can ensure that you have access to crucial information and resources while traveling by keeping your phone charged.